Hey heroes, we finally broke down and
We did
watched
it.
Madam Web. Yeah, we did it, guys. We watched
All
Madam
right.
Web and Kraven the Hunter. Now that it's all been confirmed that the SSU or whatever is no longer going forward, pretty much that these will
Pretty
be the
much
last
dead in the
movies.
water.
We decided to go ahead and record or watch finally, because there's no
Yeah, we
stakes.
haven't watched yet because when Madam Web came out, it just got such bad reviews that I was like, all right, I'm just not even gonna I don't even want to watch it because
and
I don't
with
want to waste my time
and
like that.
and with like Morbius and not being
Yep.
very entertaining, Venom 2 really crashing at the end, crashing and burning at the end of it.
Yep.
Like
And
there
then
was
Venom
just
3 being lackluster. Craven, I also had just like I just didn't have a desire. I was like, I don't want to watch it. They're gonna do it poorly, and I just like nothing Sony has done has been good. Like when the DCU got like shut down and there was like the Snyderverse stands that like held on are still
it's
currently right
still
now
currently holding on.
holding on to the
Yeah.
Snyderverse. I have not heard one SSU. Uh,
Not one. No.
not one like Stan. That is like no, like these movies have to go on. Not
No.
one.
It's because there aren't any. Like,
So the
man.
expectations were so low. So we broke down. We watched them.
Yeah.
And
Uh
boy,
we got some
strap in
thoughts.
for this
Yeah,
episode,
we
you
got
guys,
some
because there's a lot
thoughts.
to talk about.
Yeah. Definitely want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on it. I mean, some of you might have been watched them multiple times in theaters and now on Netflix at this point, or wherever you stream it on. But
If you are a person who has watched Madam Web multiple times, comment below. Because you're a superhero, one, and I
truly,
want to acknowledge you, and two, I need to know what you saw in this film. I need to know what you saw in this film. There's been people that have enjoyed it. I went in wanting to, and I went on my notebook because I was taking notes. It said not too critical on the top.
just
It
just
said
enjoy it. I tried to just enjoy it for what it was.
I
My
tried to.
brother, I had people tell me it was really good, that it was amazing. Oh my god, dude, you have to watch it, which blew my mind because I was the only person I had heard say anything of the kid that you know.
Kind of sparked us watching it. We were like, oh man, well, we should let's give it a shot.
Yeah,
You know, like
this is someone that informed my opinions of superheroes. He's my older brother. Like, I trust him. I'm gonna call you out a little bit here, bro, because you're fucking wrong. I'm calling you after we record this, just so you know. You'll watch this. I know you will, and I'll talk to you after. Uh, but
yeah. Uh, so again, like my intention was to not be critical,
yeah,
and I just had a like a page and a half of just we're okay, you guys. Everyone knows, so we're gonna try to not like hammer the dead horse, right?
yeah,
The horse is
like
dead. We don't
yeah,
need to beat this horse any more than it's been beaten
it's
already,
already
right?
buried and in the ground. All
But
right.
there are some points that like need to be like in my soul need to be acknowledged. Like one, we'll just start right off the start. The spider people, like in the heart of the Peruvian Amazon or
Las
wherever they were.
arañas.
No,
I
God,
can't even
no.
do it justice how poorly she delivers that line.
Oh, dude, there were worse takes. That was the better take, Kyle.
That was the best
Las
one.
arañas. Oh, bro, that just broke me, dude. But then just okay, can we talk about why they all looked kind of vaguely like Toby Maguire's suit? Why? What was with that? Like,
I don't know. What's with the poison touch? That's never been a thing.
dude, what's with the quick cuts where you can never really see a full scene of any of the spider people doing any spider things?
And like, or the
Did they not?
upside down like flip camera as he's running along the branches. Like the CGI just looked bad. Like
Man,
they're like
there was a point in watching the movie where I genuinely thought to myself, maybe they don't have the IP to like do any spider stuff. Like I physically thought that in my head. I was like, maybe like maybe it's not on them. Like maybe it's the corporation. Like maybe it's the hierarchy. You know,
it
because
wasn't. I don't
with
think it was.
those Ezekiel Sims scenes, dude, the fight scenes, the quote
The
fight scenes,
action
because
scenes, yeah, no. He was just hidden behind anything. You couldn't see anything. You literally like the only time you saw the characters who shall not be named, because I don't think they have the rights to Silk, Spider Woman, or Arachno. I think her name
Well, it
is
wasn't
whatever.
neither of them is Silk. It's like Spider
Oh yeah,
Girl,
Spider.
like Veronica or so on. I don't necessarily like know all their like Spider monikers.
Yeah, but I don't
Uh,
think they own the rights to them.
yeah, they definitely didn't say them. Two, like my thing is this: how many Spider-Man content things have we gotten in our lifetimes over the years?
How many different
So many.
blueprints are there? How many blueprints are there to follow when it comes to
When it
Spider-Man?
comes to Spider-Man fighting, Spider-Man moving, not Spider-Man, a Spider person.
Yeah,
And the way Ezekiel Sims was moving, dude, it was so bad.
so stiff
It was
and so like
so bad that they had to just do quick cuts, and because like there was no, I, I I wish I could be in the industry so I could like kind of like maybe like
have a
get an
little bit
explanation. You
better
know what I mean?
idea of
Yep.
why
And yeah,
decisions were made.
hmm
Like for instance, going along with the quick cuts, the editing in general was just
was
atrocious. Like there was a
I
moment
hate
when he's
using the word
talking.
novice because like these are professionals, these are their livelihoods. Like
Yeah,
they worked hard on it. Like
but
I'm not trying to bash any of the actors or any of the like the people, but
it
like
felt
man,
like
sometimes like the
college people,
product is
college
bad.
kids made it.
Felt
It
like an
felt
art
like
house
college.
film.
hmm Like
Like
specifically with like there was a point where they dubbed over Ezekiel's voice in post, and
I
it's
know
like a
exactly
radically it's a
a
radically
different
different
voice.
voice, like a different tone, different like everything, and
Yeah.
like it suddenly cuts away from his mouth, which was already not matching what the words
Yep.
were saying,
Yep. Which is
and
why they cut away.
it cuts to the back of his head, and then the voice really just changes, like
Yeah.
it gets
No,
louder,
I know
it
exactly what you're
and
talking about. I
in
don't know if it
in
was
a
the same actor or a different voice, or it was like a voice actor trying to like do his voice, or like he just like did like obviously
It
he
was a
wasn't in the
different
same
take. Yeah,
moment, so
it
he was
was
in a
in
different moment.
post clearly, like, yeah.
It did not work, dude. It was like again, not to like bash any of the people,
I
but
mean,
like dude,
like,
like sometimes like you just gotta call it what it is, and like
I
we try
try
to be objective, right? We have talked in this podcast so much about how hard it is to be objective,
yeah.
and like
One of the things that really got like, one of the things that I enjoyed, it was hard to find things personally to enjoy. One of the things I personally enjoyed was the scene where, uh the older
the chief
paramedic, the
dies.
chief dies, when it's her
I'm right there
reacting
with
to
you.
it, and, like, her,
Yep. The
like, not wanting
confusion
to
of
the
what it would be
confusion
like.
and not wanting to turn around and being like, "Oh my god, it was real," like,
Right.
"No way,"
The way
like,
she kinda tries to convince him, like, "Hey, like, let me do it."
let me drive."
Like
Yeah, like
like, maybe, like, you just don't drive, and he's like, "No," and there's, like, reasons for her not to, and then, like, she's kinda like, like, "Maybe I'm just going crazy." You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because that's kinda what it would be like. You know what I
exactly,
mean?
and, like,
Like,
how
she'd
am
be
I
like,
gonna
"Oh,
try and
fuck," like
explain to you, like, "I just saw you die, and it's
yeah,
freaking me out a little
like
bit,"
maybe
and
I'm just losing my mind. Like, they played that well.
yeah, because
That was
there was
actually the
very little
only
dialogue
Madam Webbing moment that I believe they played well. There
yeah,
was that, and I think that when she's speaking to Ezekiel, like in the like
in
dream
the
state,
dream state, yeah.
like those are like the two Madam Web moments of the movie. At the end, dude, when she splits three ways, I guess I just maybe like
Maybe I
I
don't know enough
haven't
either,
read
yeah.
I haven't read enough Madam Web stuff
Let
or
us
things
know
that
if
she's
that
in.
let us know if that's a part of her powers, if this was a like, because
I've never
obviously
seen it.
the movie was panned for a reason, and, like, we now understand for the most part what that reason is. It's a lot of dialogue issues, no action, meaningful emotional moments besides that one. That's
At
literally
the
the only
end,
one,
when
and
she's
at
like
the
hugging her
beginning.
mom, that was supposed to be the emotional moment, dude. Like there was no setup there, or they did it so bad, or like that moment didn't necessarily make sense.
Okay, I think at
Like
that point we were if I'm being honest, I'm trying to be objective here again, like, if I'm being honest, at that
you were
point,
already
I was so
disengaged from the
jaded I
movie.
was so
Yeah,
jaded by what I had seen that it like, nothing they could have
yeah,
done would have redeemed it anymore.
yeah. No, I feel that,
Like,
and like I was
um,
already pretty disengaged from the movie
I
by that
love
point.
Adam
Like I
Scott.
wasn't invested.
Adam Scott's Ben Parker,
Agreed.
that was great.
And the
Uh
concept of like the budgeting of him and May's relationship, like that was fun.
which they
Like I
couldn't
thought
say
that was
May's
cool.
name, she
I
couldn't
know.
be there. Like, it's so dumb, they couldn't say Peter's name,
Yeah,
like, he could be there as a baby, but they
yeah.
literally could not name him.
Yeah,
Um,
like, that's funny. I did like you said, what's the actor's name?
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott. He's from Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that man. So like
He's
honestly,
having like a
he was a
renaissance right
bright
now.
spot
He's great. Yeah.
in the movie. Uh, to me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
He
dude.
can take even the worst dialogue and make it good. That's like because
There's
the
two more
parts where
points that I want to hit about Madam Web before we move on,
yeah.
right? And one is the sexualization of the teenage characters. Dude, that was weird. Like I get trying to like skew to a male audience. Like we get it, Sydney Sweeney is hot. Like what like we get it, dude. But
But
like
she was
the
playing a
mini
teenager.
skirt, hot high socks, the whole movie, dude. There's a point where she's dancing on top of a table and like it's just like a group of like boys looking up her skirt. Like, dude, that made me like actually uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like
No, I
maybe that
didn't
was the point. I
like
like like maybe I'm
it
like
would
misreading it
like
and that was the point, but like,
in my
dude,
mind, it's because they made the point to say multiple times, talk about how they are teenagers, that they are in high school, that they are children,
there
and then
wasn't
they proceed to
one
sexualize them the entire movie.
there wasn't one scene with the three
Ugh,
of them.
it's just gross.
There wasn't one scene with the three of them where like one of their bellies wasn't shown. Not one, bro. Like not one. There
And I don't know,
like
and like going along with it, less sinister, but going along with that, like the stereotypes that they had them play into the nerdy smart one who's argumentative with the rebel, and then the goody two shoes who just wants to
science girl.
yeah, well, like the goody two shoes and Sydney Sweetie who just wants them to get along, and then like I realized it's essentially Powerpuff Girls. Sydney Sweeney is Bubbles. The Anya Cortisone was
Blossom.
is Blossom, and then Maddie is Buttercup. It's literally that. Like it's the same. It's formulaic. That was
Yeah.
the issue with it. Is
Yeah.
it was very formulaic. The
Yep.
dialogue was every piece of dialogue was just push this
It was
plot
so
forward,
cliche.
and
It
it
was
was
so
cliche and horrible. It was like a
dude, there was a
Snyder
line that Sydney
verse.
Sweeney
Yeah,
oh, that was it.
that was it. Yep.
I was just
I
about to
know.
say there was
I
a
know.
line that she said that got me so angry, dude. And it was like she's like it was like a spider person. Bro, I was like, they did not take like multiple takes. Like we're like, great, Sydney, that was fantastic. Let's take about like 5 more of those, and then like you've done great work today. Like a whole team of people, like a whole set was made. Like or like
Hours of
agreements. Like
writing. Like this is good.
dude,
This is
like
good stuff. Yes,
God,
good stuff.
it's impossible to me that this type of stuff made it out of the cutting room floor.
It's
Like
so ridiculous. I
Like
don't
now, like when the movie was coming out, I was kind of like real negative on Dakota Johnson. I was like, "Yo, like, dude, you don't know any of the like source material." I'll still sit on that. If you're not a person who enjoys the source material, or let alone is willing to do the research, or likes the type of source
that's
material,
no. All I
don't
ask
take
all I
these
ask
roles,
is
bro.
you be willing to do the research. Great example, John Barenthal. There's that story, famous story about him going in and asking the dude and him being like, "No, these are what you want."
Yeah,
But
like, well, he's a curious
the point
person too. You know, like
is
when he's
that
talking
he
his podcast with like D&D, he's not a nerdy guy. You know,
Mhm.
like comics aren't his thing. Like D&D is not his thing. But when people bring it up and like he gets the role, right? He investigates, right? Or when like people talk to him about it, he's curious. He's
Mhm.
like he wants to learn. He's like,
And
"Oh,
that's what
like
it
tell
takes.
me."
And,
You know,
like, I
like,
don't exactly, like, I don't care if you're not inherently into it, you have to be willing to learn, especially if you're gonna be paid a bunch of money to do the role. Like,
right.
that's the reality. But
I will say,
after
after watching it, dude, I'm on
afterwards
Dakota Johnson's side, dude. If that was me, bro, and that was me, and that was my face, you know what I mean? I'd be like,
I'd be
I'm never
pissed.
doing another superhero movie
Especially
again.
especially
I'm
because
never working with Sony again. This was a terrible experience. I would be on the exact same shit that she was on.
well, especially because as it usually happens, there's a lot of things that are left on the cutting room floor, a lot of things that are cut together in ways that it wasn't originally scripted or wasn't
Yep.
originally shot. So when
Right.
a lot of times in situations like this, the actor will watch the movie and be like,
You're like,
"This isn't the movie I made." Like,
what? Yeah.
what did they do?
Yeah, that would be a terrible moment. I gotta say,
Yeah,
dude. I don't know if she's like the type of person who likes to watch her own movies. You know, like some actors don't like
yeah,
that. So like they don't even like go to watch it, dude. But like, bro, that would be tragic to like watch yourself in like
yeah,
something this bad,
yeah. I don't know.
man.
At least I would feel bad about it.
I
They
would
were they
not.
were just like There was a lot of
I'd be
cringy
pissed.
moments. There was a lot of really poorly edited moments, and then like there were the cringiest I think, and what I think we should end on is something that we ended up watching the first like third of it like separately, and then we got on the phone together because we needed support.
Yeah, we
Um,
need to.
genuinely, like to continue watching the movie, I needed someone
That's
to
so
keep me
good.
going. Um, but it was the early on we both recognized the very obvious product placement of
Oh, dude, the
Pepsi
Pepsi.
Cola and
You
the
guys.
outward holding of the cans, all the
It
cans
hasn't been
on the
since like
table.
watching 90s movies that I've been like, wow, product placement. Like we've gotten pretty good at that now. You know, it's subtle. Like there was, dude, it was like her with the holding when the scene of them at the baby shower, it's just like 4 cans of Pepsi all with the logos out.
Well, here's what got me about the scene at the baby shower is that no matter where the camera was, the cans on the table had the label facing them, no matter which camera they were using. That's what got me about it.
Dude.
But
The end, the hero of the story, dude. The hero of the story, bro. Pepsi Cola sign, dude.
the S in Pepsi Cola specifically.
Gosh, dude. It stands for Spider Man.
Oh my god, dude. So, both of us literally at the exact same time okay, setting up the scene. We're in the warehouse and you see all the fireworks and boxes,
Explosives.
explosives
Fireworks. They're like,
in
this
this.
place is a death trap.
And for
You're like,
just
whoa, what
like
kind
they
of
say it's like
warehouse
an
is this?
abandoned warehouse that they say, "Oh, it's a warehouse, a random warehouse." And then they get to the roof, and when it panned out and showed the Pepsi Cola, both of us, I at the same time, I swear to
We just
God,
burst out laughing.
Pepsi Cola. Why? Why? It's so dumb.
Why is there fireworks and explosives in there?
And
There should be soda. Is that how you make Pepsi? Is explosions?
Where's the CO2? Where's the syrup? Like, I don't. What's happening right
I
now?
think they're telling us a secret ingredient.
Yeah, and Pepsi
Boom!
Cola. Explosions in your mouth. like okay.
Like it was 2003, okay? Like
That's exactly what I was.
Coca-Cola had cocaine in their product. We had explosions. What do you want us to do?
But going actually to that point, it was set in 2003, so it almost felt like there were like certain late 90s, early 2000s cliches that they were trying to like go for.
But boy,
And
did
one
it
of
not
them
hit.
being the product placement. That felt like there was overtly
So
overt
I
product
hope so.
placement for it, but they didn't
I
do it.
hope so.
It
It
just
was like it was like
goofy and out of place. Like it was
weird.
laughable. Like uh,
All
anyway, Pepsi Cola is the
you
hero
guys,
of Madam Web. Let us know what you guys think about
yeah,
that.
the true hero, Pepsi. God, I wish I had a
I wish
Pepsi
I
right
had a
now.
Pepsi so bad.
It's like
What'd you do, Vanessa?
Pepsi. I'd run out of this room. Oh God.
All
With
right,
all that being said,
we gotta move on
Kyle,
to
if you
Kraven.
had to rate Madam Web
Oh,
an honest rating,
oh,
to me, bro, no lies, I would rate it like 2.
at
You know,
most.
just like
I'm
2 or
thinking
3.
1.8 to
Like, yeah.
2.2. That was my
Like,
like two, like
like
1.8 to
I want to
2.2.
go higher because I don't think we don't do a lot of ratings, right? But
Yeah,
like I don't think I've ever graded a movie.
below 5.
It's
I'm
hard to
really
say.
careful.
It's hard to
Like
say
I
if
don't
this
know.
movie for me is worse than Thor: Love and Thunder, because that one has like a lot of stipulations on top of it that make me dislike it more because of like what they did to certain characters that
As a
were already
standalone,
established.
as a
But
standalone
as a
movie, this
standalone
one's
movie, dude,
worse.
it is worse. Like it is worse. It could be. It is the worst superhero movie. Like if
Might
this
be
could
one
be
of the
called a
worst
superhero movie,
movies.
it's just yeah. Like
For,
yeah.
sorry, especially for high budget movies. You know,
Yeah,
like it's a big blockbuster movie that was just felt like you said earlier, like not to
an art
disrespect
house
them,
film.
but like, but not yeah, not to disrespect art house films because they have no budget and they
Dude,
still
and
they
they're
sometimes
good
make yeah, and they
sometimes. Yeah,
sometimes make really impressive shit. But like this had a massive budget and felt like it had nothing. Like I don't know.
Dude, it's terrible when you're comparing like a big like superhero movie to an art house film, and you're like, but like I don't want to offend the art house film. That's bad, bro. Like
People comparing this to Morbius did Morbius a
Morbius
disservice.
and Injustice, dude.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with that.
yeah.
I'm 100% on you with that. And in that vein, let's move over to Craven
Yeah, we're gonna
because
go a little long on this episode.
I,
Stick with us, sorry, but it just is what it is.
I do believe that this movie did Craven an injustice in the box office and in
Yeah.
just in general because
Mhm.
this movie coming out just broke. We already were all on the fence about the SSU.
We
We were
didn't
already all
see
like,
it.
meh.
Mhm.
When it came out, dude, it just was a solidified no. This is done.
Yeah.
This is awful. So like,
Honestly, it
it,
did to be fair, I will I do wanna say real quick, it did start with Venom 3 being so
agreed,
lackluster. The
agreed.
reason we didn't see Madam Web was because we were waiting for Venom 3 and we didn't wanna waste our time if,
I agree.
like, if it was bad, and we're like, we ended up being, right,
Well,
but
ding. Yep. Uh,
but
with
I will
all that said,
say
though, Craven, stark difference.
mhm,
Stark difference. Like I was telling Kyle, the whole time I was watching this movie, I just kept hearing there's a interview with the director of Craven where he's like, "We tried everything to not be associated with the rest of the Sony movies. Please watch our movie. We tried really hard." And like the whole time I was just like, bless this man's heart. Like bless
yeah,
that man's heart, dude.
'cause, like,
Stark difference. It
there were
understood to me what it was supposed to be,
mhm,
right? Was there issues with this movie? Hell yeah. It was
oh, yeah.
all in like the dialogue, like some of the writing, like
Certain
100%.
choices that were made, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Uh but I think like in the culmination, all those moments might have made up like 7 to 8 minutes of the movie. So
Yeah,
like
no,
whatever, man.
well, see,
Like
I would argue, like, the cool moments maybe, like, the really, really, like, good moments, the actually, like, good moments of the movie, to me, that was maybe, like, 10 minutes of the movie.
oh,
Like,
interesting.
the action scenes and certain dialogue,
I
maybe
actually really
15.
liked the like concept of the movie. I
Mhm.
liked like what they did with Craven. Like where this was definitely a different take on
Oh,
Craven.
yeah, an
Craven's no
anti-hero
yeah, you're
Kraven,
right.
yeah,
Craven's no anti-hero.
yeah,
Um so that right off the bat was jarring
mhm,
and I was like, right? But like I did like how they like did it because he's like a natural hunter. Like
mhm,
he is like a pure hunter. Like he's like attacking poachers and like people who like abuse the natural order. Like
mhm,
that to me is really cool, right? Instead of him being like a trophy hunter and glorifying like poaching and like trophy hunting and that type of shit,
mhm.
I do prefer a version where he's like, no, like if you're gonna abuse like
Like,
nature,
where he's one with nature because he
yeah,
uses nature's powers. It makes
right,
sense. It's just like Vixen, like in
yep,
DC,
yeah,
like where it'd be like if Beast Boy wasn't a conservationalist, like just things
yeah,
like
no,
that,
100%. Like, and
like
also like he's much more powerful than like any
Mhm,
Craven should like could is right like in any other
mhm,
iteration to my understanding. Like
yeah,
to me Craven gets his powers from like like this like serum, right? He's like dying, the lady
and
gives him
it's
the serum, it
temporary,
gives him like
like
power, right?
yeah,
um so this it felt to me like this movie belonged in like the Andrew Garfield world or the Morbius world more than any of the other movies. It felt more connected, not in any sense like literal in the movie,
because
but in
they
the
made
sense of
sure
how
of
he got
it.
his power. Because
Yeah,
like the like animal splicing, like
mm,
the cross species genetics is what it's in Andrew Garfield's movies, what they call it. It's like what gives him his
yeah,
powers, what gives Lizard his powers.
mhm,
Morbius, he's essentially mixing his blood with bat blood. So like that
yeah.
like cross species stuff, if it felt like it fit in that world
Absolutely, especially
pretty
with,
well.
like, Chameleon at the
Hmm.
end, like,
Yeah.
with, Just like it seems like the in general the SSU and like the SSU in general has focused around animal powered people,
Hmm. Yeah,
especially this movie being, this focused around Kraven. Like
right.
they had multiple. I think
I'll
they had,
say this, by the way. When the trailer came out, dude, I was so pissed that Russell Crowe was gonna be like the Russian, like Kravenov, like father head.
yeah,
I was like, dude, Russell Crowe, like, hey, no respect to you, my boy, because one, I respect what you do. Two, killed it, dude. I didn't. I
are you
he
not
was
entertained?
he was fantastic. Like like dude,
He's a
his
good
Russian,
actor.
like, dude,
Yeah,
the power of a good actor, bro.
yeah,
Like for real, that was like impressive to me. Like that,
yeah.
like because like I was like, no, like come on, man. Like we like like we can't get like a Russian. Like there's some probably pretty good Russian actors. Like come on. But he fucking killed it.
Yeah, he did well. I didn't have an issue with him
He
at
did
all,
fantastic.
actually. There were like, I don't know, there was like, for instance, like the action scenes, like I was saying before, almost every like I will say every action scene from the very beginning when he pushes those dudes up and then
Mm-hmm.
smashes their
Action
heads
scenes were
down.
very raw, very
Yeah,
like
violent,
violent,
as they should
very
be,
yeah.
because
Mhm.
that's what he's a hunter. He's
Yep,
gonna do it as efficiently
Predator.
as possible.
Yep.
Like, there's moments where he, like, just crushes people and is just like, because that's the most efficient way to
Dude,
do
with
it.
those bear traps, I was like,
Oh, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
like, oh
When
no.
he put that on dude's head and
Oh,
that was
oh.
awful. I was like,
Like
"Whew."
when they pan over and it shows like the dude's head in the bear trap,
Mhm.
and like pans over the dudes, and I was like, oh, dude, like
And
that
dude, I don't know if
is
you noticed, he's kinda, like, twitching still
that
because,
is
like, he's not
gruesome, man.
dead,
I was
but
like, oh no. But
horrible.
going along with that, I really liked like that they made it a point to show that like you can't out hunt me.
Yeah, like, he's
Like
the
they put the
toughest
bear
walk.
traps in there, and he's just like looking at them, like walking past them, like nice. Like
Mhm.
everything, like it's his world.
Yeah.
Like that was like very very cool. What you were just saying, like the way he's stalking when he's like walking behind them. There's a point where he's like a breath away from
That's
the
the
dude.
best scene in the movie. In my
Agreed,
opinion, that's the best. It
one
was like
hundred
Assassin's
percent
Creed
agree.
level sneak. Like,
Dude,
he was
like he was
literally like,
100 sneak. Yeah, he had
like
100 sneak in
he was
Skyrim.
just, yeah, exactly. He was just the way they showed it. Like, he turned around, and as he before he even started to
He's like,
turn, he
yep.
ducked around. Like, that's so
His
good.
footsteps were like on their beat.
Yep,
Like he was
yep.
like on their beat. It was just,
Oh,
it
oh.
was really well done. There's a part
You
where
had
it
pointed
pans
out
over where you're about
where
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 his
where
yellow eyes.
where's yellow eyes come in? Actually, what I was gonna say is there's a point you mentioned earlier where he catches the dude where he like hits dude with the knife, jumps off the wall and catches him so that he
So he
doesn't
doesn't
make
make sound.
noise as he
The
hits the ground.
only action movie I've ever seen take consideration to body fall like
It-
noise.
yeah, as
Like
he should. He's the world's greatest hunter.
I literally remember being like, nice. Like I wrote that down. I was like, that's the only action movie I think I've ever seen that like has like stopped
Yeah,
the body from falling.
that was
You know?
insane. That was insanely
Uh,
cool.
but dude,
Uh,
like what I was saying with his eyes in that scene where he's stalking them and like the camera is like panning over. There's some like, parts where it's like he's in the shadow and like all
mhm,
you can see is his eyes. That was sick.
yeah.
Like that was super cool.
Yeah, there was
Yeah, definitely the
there
best scene
were
in the
there
movie.
were there were a lot of really good moments in this movie, especially when we compare it to
Man, what?
but on its own, like, it is a good Craven movie. Like, I
Yeah,
enjoyed it as a but I will say there there was something that left me wanting about the Calypso character. Like, I
agreed.
don't know, she should have had more to do with the story. She
So
just felt like she was there just to fill a space,
a check. To
like
me,
the
she
love
was a check
interest.
on the like, yep,
Like,
love
oh,
interest,
they have a love
female
interest, female
character.
character, love
Um,
interest, like, okay, we got that
yep,
box checked, we're good now. But, like,
yep.
they didn't give her any real dialogue other than, like, the one scene where she shoots dude with the crossbow and is like,
I
"3
liked her like
motherfucking,"
I don't
like,
know.
but
Yeah, I almost would have liked to see either more of her inclusion, and more of her powers and more of her everything else,
Yeah, like, I would have
or
loved to
not
see
see
the
her at all.
named exactly. I would have loved to see the named character be the named
Yep.
superpowered
Because like I
character.
do like being introduced to characters like this. Like for example, the
Mhm.
Foreigner. I never heard of that character. Had to
Yeah.
look him up while watching the movie.
Oh,
I
same
like
with
I
Calypso,
like that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah, right. Same with Calypso. Like I enjoy that. That's something I think is cool. You know, when you bring these characters that like even
That have
fans haven't
powers.
heard about,
Yeah.
and like you bring them to the forefront of a movie. They did it well with the Foreigner. Didn't do
Mhm.
it well with Calypso. Didn't
Exactly.
do it well with Calypso. Because like the
Exactly.
Foreigner was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Honestly, like the way they did his like the
1,
the
2,
like
and then,
concept
like
of his like
yeah,
abilities, pretty dope.
yeah.
Um, but I-
Another one, just because it brought to my mind the Jackal being, like, introduced right at the end
yeah,
of the film, going along with what you're saying about characters I'd never really, like, heard of, because like, I'd, like, in tangentially, I'd never really heard the name the Jackal, you
that is
know?
one when Miles
Like
Warren was. I was like, oh, the Jackal, like, oh, dope. Because
yeah.
like he's responsible for the creation of a lot of Spider-Man villains. You
Mhm.
know, like and he's just like a very kind of like psychopath like pathic character. You know, like
Yeah.
I hope the SSU isn't going forward anymore. But like I hope that like they're gonna like fold some of these storylines in because
It
there's a
would
lot
be
of these things that I want to see.
it
You
would be
know,
smart with this one specifically, especially because they kept it so separate from
agreed, dude. This feels so
the
separate
rest
that
of
it
it.
could.
It could
Yes,
very easily be folded in, and I think
I agree.
honestly it should, like, Rhino was cool,
Yeah, to me, Rhino
like
was one of my like. It wasn't a negative. It was like a slant negative because I do think he looked cool. I liked like his like scenes where he like takes the truck. Like that was super sick.
yeah.
Uh, I just wanted. I wish he was a little bigger. Like
Mhm,
I wish when he would
mhm.
transform, like
Yes,
it would grow his size a little
yes,
bit as
yeah.
well. Because he's like he is bigger than
It
like
did
Craven, but he's not like all that much bigger than
no.
like he is as a person.
Yeah. And
Um,
like I was about to say, they did like it did like grow him a little bit, but like
mhm.
he's Rhino is huge,
Yeah,
like
like
he's massive.
yeah,
It
yeah.
I don't know. That was like
I think it would have
I
been cool to see like the Stampede, like and Rhino Stampede with them.
yeah,
You know what I
something
mean?
like that.
Like because
Or
he's
like
like
they like scare them off, like get
yeah,
them to like run away because he's
hmm
stampeding at them.
yeah, like yeah,
Um
agreed.
I did like, Chameleon as well, like the like
I did
pre-Chameleon, like before they but like the way they showed the way he could like mimic people's voices almost, their singing abilities, and like that's
like
like right off the bat, I was like, "That's cool."
that's cool.
Like,
Yep,
yeah.
like that. Like agreed. They did a lot of things conceptually that I found
Mhm,
really cool. Like that at the beginning of the movie where he escapes using the storm.
mhm.
You know, like I thought that that was a
Oh,
really
yeah, that
cool
was
way to
sick
show like a very Craven thing to do,
that
where
he
like
planned
he
for everything.
planned meticulous every little thing,
Mhm,
down to the storm being there that day. Like instead of like to me that was such a cool way that he used nature in a natural way. Like he knew the storm was going to be there that day. But it
mhm,
almost feels like a mysticalness to it. You know what I mean?
mhm.
But like it was meticulous planning and an understanding of nature down to the like how storms work.
Dude,
You know, like
also, real
super
quick,
cool.
what another really cool scene that it kind of
Very Craven.
exemplifies that cravenness for me is when they're walking through the jungle and he stops and he goes, "We're being hunted," and then immediately like
Yeah,
jumps
yeah,
and then like pins the leopard and is like, "You don't hunt me." Like I'm on your side, motherfucker.
yeah.
Like get
Well, like,
angry,
and
but
also
not at
like,
me.
uh,
And then like lets
I'm
him
the
go.
apex of this
Yeah,
land.
yeah,
Like, you know, like you might think that like you're getting big and you can like challenge the apex, but like th- that's me. Like you don't hunt me. Like
yeah.
go hunt like all everything
You
else.
can keep trying, young one. You will
like,
never
like,
succeed.
you know,
And
like
we're
that
and
was super cool. I really like that too. It was like I am
it
the
again,
like
it shows like how in touch with
alpha
nature
here.
he is, you
Yep.
know? Like how
Yep.
much he understands how these animals work and these
And he didn't
like
want to hurt it. Right? He
no.
was like, he's challenging me. Like
Yeah,
that's
and
in its nature.
and
You know,
it's
he
like
was
not the
like,
first time.
right, right.
Like The way
Yeah,
he
that
looks at him
that
like,
was
"Yeah,
cool.
get angry." That to
Yep,
me was like, that's not the first time that's happened. That
yep,
to me was like, oh, he has a relationship with this thing. And then he
yep.
says like, I've known him since he was a cub. Like,
And like
it's a
when it
long time,
attacks the other men, it's just killing those dudes.
dude.
Like
No
they're
problem.
nothing. Like yeah,
That-
that's cool.
uh,
Needless to say, I do believe so. Like if we were to give like Madam Web like a 2, right? To me, Craven was like maybe like a 7. I
yeah.
enjoyed it for what it was. The makers to me did a much better job making the movie,
Hmm.
understanding like like the assignment
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah.
like with like what it was. The acting in it to me was way better. Like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
conceptually there was just like a lot of cool stuff.
It was edited
Uh,
well, you know what I mean?
yep,
Like, there weren't any obvious editing flaws like we
yeah,
noticed in
yeah,
multiple times in Madam Web.
yeah.
I don't know, like,
Like at the
just
end with like Chameleon when he was transferring between
there
like
was a
the
little bit of
faces, there was like
weirdness
some
there.
weirdness. I
Yeah,
did like his look. Like I
yeah,
know we
I don't
talked
know,
right at the end
I
and you
was a
didn't
little
like it
bit
so much.
I was
You were
I was a little on the fence about
I
it
wish
just
he would have
'cause,
been a
like,
little more mechanical. I can't tell, but it looks like Jackal made it his face. Like
see,
that's his natural face.
that's what my issue with was. It was like it looked like it was like just his face rather than like
The
he's
technology.
yeah, rather than him being like chameleon. It seems
Yeah.
like they're doing more again with that cross species genetics, where
Yeah.
like he was changed genetically to be able to be a chameleon,
Yeah.
a
Right.
human
Which
chameleon.
isn't how chameleons work, by the way.
Like well, like in any case,
Going as far as that though, when Russell Crowe's character, the Daddy Kraven, when he was talking like at the dinner party when he's singing, and he's like, "Oh, like he can do anyone. He's like chameleon." I was
yeah,
like, "Oh, like that's like
setting it
really
up.
cool."
Yeah,
Yeah, well, like and just like a really cool way to like be like a singer that emulates like
yeah.
other like voices. Like
Oh,
he
and I
does his dad's voice. He does anyone's voice when he's like a prisoner. He just like does the dude's voice. Like
yeah,
that just was like really really cool way to show like him.
how it's natural, how
Yeah,
like each of it, because like in it seems like
he's
in
good
most
at it without the powers, right? He doesn't need
the
the powers. It's a talent.
yeah, Calypso's grandmother at the flashback at the beginning says like each person has an animal that they're tuned to,
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
know, and like kind of setting up that like Rhino was kind of always going to become a Rhino,
A
and
rhino,
the
right?
chameleon is naturally a chameleon, you know,
Yeah.
and like
Conceptually too, the character of Rhino being like, whenever a obstacle faces me, I just run right at it. Like instead of like somebody told me I was on Craven's list, I'm going to go after him.
mhm.
Like a Rhino goes right at his like target. Like
Well, like
there's no
even
swaying.
the way he pitched his idea originally to Daddy Gravenoff
Hmm.
was was just he went right at him. He
Hmm.
walked up to him and was like, and it offends him. He's like, I'm on a hunting trip with my sons, trying to like teach them the
Hmm.
sport, and you're in my
Like
ear, you're just chatting in my ear about this, and he just keeps going. He just keeps
yep,
doing it. He just
yep,
runs right at it, and he doesn't
yep.
stop until
Yeah,
he's
so like
pushed
that's
away,
cool.
and he
I like that
subverts.
conceptual stuff. They put thought
Mhm.
into into it. Was it different? Was it a very different take on Craven? Like yes. Like
Very much so, yeah.
I do still believe though, and I would be interested in seeing this version of Craven hunt Spider-Man.
Go forward.
Yeah, like yes, I
For
would like
this
to like
like, that's one of the things we're going long here, thanks for sticking
yeah,
with us if you have, but
for
that's
real.
one of the things I wanted to end on personally is that both of these movies, Madam Web and Craven, felt like they were building to something more going forward that it doesn't seem like we're
That
gonna
isn't
get,
coming.
which for Madam Web's case, I'm glad about, honestly, but in this case, like, in with Craven, like, I would have liked to see
Want more.
more of Craven going
Mhm.
forward. Unfortunately, they're the same universe.
Yeah, this is true. Like yeah, like I don't want to go back to Madam Web, but it's just like
Yeah.
to me it's so insane that they could have like put something like that out, and then there's like so many ideas that get shut down every day. And like they made a Madam Web movie without like there was a past, future, and like present like sense to the movie, but like we didn't get to see an older version of Madam Web. Like we didn't get to see like Madam Web as we know her at all. Like
Mm.
she became Madam Web at the very end.
Ugh. We did.
You know,
Sorry,
rather
when
than
we were
like in
talking about it.
Kraven, it's the exact opposite. You know, like
He's Kraven right away,
it's immediate. It's they get it out of the way right away. It's an
which is
origin story still.
which is
They're
what.
both origin
Yeah.
stories, but one ends with the character just beginning. And like in a bad way, might I add, because that costume that she's wearing at the end on that chair, bro.
Dude, we didn't mention it when we were talking about Madam Web, but that was the most cringy,
It looks like
like
cosplay.
terrible, like low grade, like
Like,
average local convention cosplay. It was so bad. The rubber pool noodle arms for the
oh,
mechanical
dude,
spider, like it
for
was.
Maddie,
Yeah, that
they
it was
literally
just
looked like
so
rubber.
bad.
You know, like those mistakes weren't made in Kraven. You know,
No,
like that type of stuff wasn't done. Like there was cringy moments, there was bad writing, there was some like dry dialogue. You know, but like at least like it hit where it's supposed to hit for a superhero movie.
it felt like
In my
It
opinion.
felt like a Craven movie,
Mhm.
whereas Madam Web did not feel like a Madam Web
I
movie.
want to watch Kraven again in time. I will never watch Madam Web
I don't think I'll
again.
be able to. We barely got ourselves through the first time. I don't.
Like I won't. I can't think of a reason that I'll ever want to watch it again. And
Me
then,
neither.
so you guys, we went long. If you guys made it this far, we thank you so much. You know, we're trying to be objective, and so when you're trying to be that way, there's a lot to say. You know, and if you've enjoyed this type of content, please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already at Hosts4Hire podcast. It's Hosts4Hire with the number 4. We again thank you guys for making it this long. Comment below if you agree with any of our takes. If you disagree, especially with anything, please comment. If you hated
Please.
Kraven and you thought it was like the worst, if you thought it was worse than the Venoms, worse than Morbius, tell us why. If you are like
Love.
Kyle's brother and you enjoyed Madam Web, tell us
I'm
why.
for
Yeah,
real about to call him
very
after this.
curious.
I wasn't
Yeah,
kidding at the
because
beginning.
we want to know, right? So just
Yeah.
like get in our comment section, talk to us about it, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks.